Village Manorhaven Board of Trustees regular meeting, October 22nd, 2015. Trustee Avina.
Present.
Trustee Lucia. Here. Trustee Gately. Not here. Trustee Manorhaven. Here. Mayor Junta. Ladies and gentlemen, in your packets and members of the audience, there are quite extensive minutes, as I was told that the last month I had left some things out that seemed to be very important, so I tried to encapsulate everything that was said at the last meeting, so I know.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Okay, go ahead.
How many pages are there, 28? Did you say? 28 pages?
I didn't count.
Go down to 3. And then just go all the way through.
What? Yeah.
There were a lot of tree resolutions.
Any questions on minutes?
I'd like to propose that we table these so we could read them, and I got 28 pages about 15 minutes ago, and I didn't have time to read them.
Well, trustee, most of them are tree resolutions and resolutions that had been handed out before the meeting last time, so they're really only about 4 or 5 pages. They were emailed to you today too.
These?
They were emailed, the draft minutes were sent as soon as they were finished. One of the things that held them up is that I did not receive 2 of the 3 resolutions handed to me on the floor at the September 17th meeting. And there was some question as to whether procedurally resolutions that were not called by the mayor could be counted. The attorney at NICOM opined that it was done incorrectly and that there was no vote taken, so that I was waiting for as well.
I think just to expand on that, the vote has to be called out by the mayor. I believe during the meeting that a member of the board called out and said, we're just going to vote it, and then the member mentioned the names.
By a show of hands.
Right, that's an improper procedure. It's not the vote to be.
Is that according to the law or is that
Yes.
according to
Yes.
NICOM? I'm not sure about NICOM.
It's in the law, but it doesn't preclude you from re-voting. But just doing it.
So I make a resolution that we table these minutes until
It's a motion.
we have a time. I'll make a motion then. I make a motion to table these minutes until we have time to peruse them carefully.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I have to just, I also need to tell the board that the clerk's minutes, by law, are the clerk's minutes. They do not need to be voted upon, they do not need to be accepted. The minutes written by the clerk, and that's why I take that very seriously and work very, very diligently to try to write down everything that happens in a meeting without comment towards that, so.
Leslie,
You
you
could call
weren't
the board.
you weren't
Okay.
taping though, were you?
No.
You didn't tape this.
No, I was writing
We don't have
notes,
the time.
and you will also have the stenographer's transcript, but
When you finish it.
the stenographer's transcript is mainly because there is so much litigation in the village that if the judge wanted to see the litigation, to see the transcript, they could do that for litigation, so.
Not correct, you got to pull the board.
I know, I'm just trying to write down who made the motion to table.
Mr.
Trustee Van Rashla, and trustee Avina. Okay, trustee Avina,
Aye.
trustee Lucia,
Abstain.
trustee Van Roshlav,
Aye.
Mayor Junta. Moving on to,
Does everyone understand what just happened? You got a majority of three members. You need three
Yes,
members to vote.
it passed, everybody.
It did not pass.
it did not pass.
You need three members, you need a majority of the full constitution, which is 5. You need 3 members to vote affirmatively. It did not pass.
Oh, I thought you won. Okay.
The first is my report. I will make this very brief. On the front page of everybody's packet. The street fair is this Saturday, 11 to 5. We have an amazing amount of vendors. Sharon, how many? Like 40 vendors? 45 vendors. It's going to be incredible, so please tell a lot of people to come. We had a very, very unfortunate incident today, as I let the board know. We had a lot of vandalism last evening with flower pots overturned, with dog excrement being strewn all through the preserve. The gazebo in the preserve was vandalized. The worst part of this is that the 9/11 tree that we planted on Arbor Day was snapped in half, broken, pulled out of the ground by the roots, and just strewn. We found...
benches.
Hmm?
None of the benches.
The benches were also turned over. The bench, when I got here this morning, as I do at 8, a little bit before 8, were turned over outside in the front, on the side. And flower pots, as I said, overturned. It was really a mess. We made a police report. And I just want to ask people, members of the community, if they see something or hear something, please call the police. It seems to be happening mostly at nighttime, but just call. We don't know if it's kids, we don't know we don't know who did it. We don't know who did it. Well, we don't have cameras in the preserve. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I was notified by trustee Avina that there was asphalt in the preserve. This was going back about a week and a half ago. The town was contacted because they did a project for us, and when they went to inspect, their contractor did indeed throw asphalt in the preserve, and they have since cleaned it up. In the board packets, you're going to see some items that you requested both at last meeting and the work session. You will see the claims for the repayment that we bonded. You'll see the first 3 quotes we received for producing construction, first of 3 quotes that we got for construction for our new office. And in a moment, Sharon's going to hand out a few more quotes that we got for jetting the sewer pipes for Morgan Stock, and the cost, because people seem to be concerned, for the street fair. We are also going to be collecting toys for tots, so anytime now you can bring that in to us. I had sent everybody dates to meet with Vision Long Island, so I just want to get a consensus of the board, not now, by email tomorrow, so I can set that up for you. And also consensus I'm asking for to meet with the police, whether we should do it at the work session or whether we should do it at our next BOT. We've set also the tree lighting for December 3rd, which is a Thursday. Everybody can please mark their calendars at 5 p.m. And the last thing, and probably the most important, which I saved for last, I was very, very happy to see that, and granted, not everybody voted, but we did have one of the highest turnouts of any of the villages and the town of North Hempstead in the LoSAP referendum. The referendum did pass both propositions. Proposition 1 passed 119 to 12, and the second proposition passed 118 to 1. And that's it.
What time did you say the tree lighting was?
5 p.m. on December 3rd. And that's my report. Now, if you'd like to take a look in your packets, You have the Justice Court report, the DPW report, the pump station report, the building department report, and the police report. So please take a few moments.
So it's under all of these,
Yeah.
Yes, after what I just said is my report, the information that you had asked for, like why did we bond and who did we pay and did we actually pay, you have that in the packet, and you can see the first report is the Justice Court report.
okay,
Looks like that.
thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Trustee Alina?
does this include the abstract?
No, do that separately from Trustee Alina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Van Roshlav?
Aye.
Mayor Junta? Aye. Next, we can take a look at the abstract. That's okay, the 18th, which was the day after the meeting, through today. Now, we also have, I'll let you look first, then I'll make a comment. Yep.
Do we have to pay balloons by design ahead of time? I think if you have.
That was from, way back from the last Food Truck Friday.
Okay.
Rico, please take that off. You'll see I have a little line through Rico. They had billed us, we had paid it, we had cut a check in error, and that's why we take it off, and this was going to be amended tomorrow as I looked over it, because now we have a Xerox machine, so that is in error, and that will be changed.
There's two sets of PSEG bills. I see that they're different. Looks like they're different count numbers.
Yes, we have lots of PSE&G bills depending on which, yeah,
5, 6, 7, 8.
it's about 8.
Oh, two
Yep.
straight, right, two straight lines. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yes,
I knew there was 6, and then I thought there was 2 more additional. I didn't, now I see it.
it's okay.
And of course, all the, all the engineers and stuff for the planning boards and the other boards, that's all gonna be reimbursed.
That's reimbursed from the escrow money that we do collect for each of those cases. And the engineer, if they're an engineer for the planning board, that is taken from that, from the escrow
Applicant
money,
or, right.
from the applicant. If it's the engineer from Morgan's, which is cash in,
We
that's
pay
paid
and they
for by
reimburse
the,
us.
we pay it, and we get reimbursed by the grant, correct. That is about 3/4 of the way through.
But
The
the other
others
one-
are a stamp machine.
What is Theodore Robinson?
This was an old invoice that was in my, in the unpaid bill folder for some legal outside counsel. Outside counsel. I don't know, I have to look into it. It was dated from before I was here.
Yeah, so can we take that off?
Take it off.
Take it off, sure.
I also,
Right, we you're right, and we also have the issue that Mr. Tomru's check from last month was held out. I don't know if you want to just make it, amend that and put that one in because, the court, Well, the board is,
The court has not
The
settled
court-
the case.
I make a motion that we exclude the payments to Mr. Torrance for the court result.
And Mr. Lowe.
Oh, definitely.
No,
No, we don't, I'm just saying,
we're adding Mr. Torrance.
until we
I
find out.
say, let's wait for the verdict from the Supreme Court.
So that's a motion.
Yeah, we did. I'll second it.
So, stop. Wait a second. Let's approve the abstract first, so we'll do them at a time, and then if you want to
Because he's
do
not-
something,
Because he's not on here
He's not
anyway,
on
so
here.
let's get
Okay,
into
I'm
it.
fine, no problem.
I'm just looking, give me just one more second here, because this writing is really small.
You know what,
I'm writing BZA opinions, I'm meeting with the BZA. Why is that an issue with services? I'm under contract. I don't understand it, it seems punitive. What's gonna happen is it's gonna bring up Article 17 on Monday, because of this, because it's unfair. And I'm sitting for your BZA meetings, I'm writing your decisions, I'm noticing it, I'm doing all the work, and to be spiteful, you're saying,
No.
it sounds very spiteful.
We're not being spiteful.
It's wrong.
We're right with the resolution.
But the judge has said,
The judge has said, T-R-O.
that is why Mr. Leventhal is
Not
not here
his
today.
final decision yourself.
Final decision will be November 3rd, so that's a little bit.
it's November 6th.
Oh, excuse me, November 6th.
November 6th.
So November 6th. And then whatever it is.
well, then it went to appeals court. What happened in appeals court?
Tell it to the, I.
Suspend.
Oh,
Go
so,
back to it.
wait, you
He's
went,
entitled to be paid.
What's a contract? I think that was just.
I honestly, this whole attorney thing is just getting out of hand.
To say the least.
I don't know what to do anymore. I mean, I got bills here from Leventhal, you know what, let's do the abstract and we'll discuss that afterwards, like you said, because I
I make a
just.
motion to approve the abstract as is.
But because Toner is not on, nobody's on, right, nobody's on here, taking off Theodore Robinson,
and
excluding.
taking off the RICO bill, which should not.
All right, which
be
you
on.
already had struck, I thought that was,
I did already
Okay.
strike that.
so, sorry, the mayor made a motion, I'll second it.
Trustee Vina, trustee Lucia,
Aye.
trustee Manorhaven,
Aye.
Mayor Junta. Mayor, are we moving on to the resolution, or the trustee? Do you want to do that going into executive session and not in
I want to
public?
make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Mr. Thomas. So.
No, don't. It's Mr. Adina's motion.
All right, so Mr. Ravina had a motion on the floor not to pay Mr. Toler, is that what it is?
No,
Not to pay,
let's-
no, I think it was not to pay anybody.
let's
That's what I
not
heard.
pay anybody.
Wait a minute. We now have a court injunction saying that there's a high likelihood of success on the merits. Mr. Leventhal's firm has now been enjoined for representing the village in any capacity. The judge has
Until
declared,
November-
excuse me, I don't want to interrupt you, but you're
I'm sorry.
interrupting me.
I'm sorry.
The judge said, I shall act as village attorney. So what you're doing is just, and I am going to the village for fees, I'm gonna go back to the court tomorrow and say that you have declared that I can act as village attorney, but two trustees for political reasons are saying, don't pay the attorney because the court has ordered them to act as the attorney, because we believe that the resolution firing me was an unlawful act. So if the court rules it's an unlawful act, it's just, who's doing the BZA meetings? Who's doing the legal in these meetings? Who's writing all the messages? It's not fair for you guys to get paid. Now, Mr. Leventhal sat here and he did absolutely nothing. Nothing. We're running the day-to-day function. I'm dealing with the labor law issues, the contracts, the employees, everything in the village we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. If you just say you're not going to get paid for it, it's extremely unfair. It's not legal.
Okay,
It's not legal. I'll tell you what the Attorney General said. It says you cannot, if you cannot fire the village attorney, you cannot accomplish by not paying him what you can accomplish by not
The
firing.
court was going to decide this on
The court has
November 6th.
decided,
No,
preliminarily.
it's not.
Preliminarily it does.
It's temporary injunction, temporary.
That's what it is, but it's based on the likelihood of success on the merits, which you're 90% of the box right now.
I'm not an attorney. so-
And then the appellate division affirmed that yesterday. The Court of Appeals, I'm sure they will affirm it as well. I'll keep going, I'll go to the Supreme Court of the United States.
I have a motion, Mr. Ravina, so.
Not to pay these, unfortunately.
Okay, what, the payment would have been for what months?
Where'd he go? Past 2 months.
He's not been paid in September. That check was held out last month. He's not been paid for October, when the court had said that he is acting as the attorney.
I have the
You
court
can
order on
always
me.
make
Can
a
we make
motion.
the court order part of the record?
All right, so,
But normally the abstract reflects from the last BOT meeting to this BOT meeting. It's really reflective.
right, but they held out the check last month, so we did not pay him last month.
But last month was for this month, wasn't it?
No, last month was for last
We're
month, and
paying
this
them
month
for a
is for
week in
this
advance.
month.
Normally, the check
Oh, a week
is
in
cut
advance.
about a week in advance that the attorney writes.
And we assume that he will stay for the rest of the month, every month, because this is when we.
And then what happens with Leventhal bills? I assume we have some Leventhal bills.
I think we will hash that all out once the judge makes a
Leventhal
decision.
submitted a.
Well,
invoice
you know-
of
May that come down to 6 months?
Honestly, I wanted to do that from the beginning. I said, let's stop all this nonsense and let's see what the judge says, and yet,
That's all, he went to the.
The judge said I am the acting.
He went to the
village
appellate
attorney.
division.
Acting is a key word. Until decision is made by the Supreme Court, which will be November 6th.
well, how did it get to the Supreme Court?
No, that's where it starts. It starts at the Supreme Court.
No, I thought.
And then they took it to the appellate
What
court
order?
yesterday, they
I'm sorry.
appealed the TRO.
Because, you know, I'm not an
because they
attorney,
didn't wanna
and
wait
thank
till
the
November
Lord I
6th.
haven't been in court,
Right.
so I don't know any of that stuff.
Look, I'm gonna have to go back to court in the morning and read it, and this I am billing the village for, because I think it's vindictive, and I think it's wrong, that I should do all the village work. All the work, Mr. Leventhal sat here as a mannequin for 2 months while I did everything. I attend the meetings, I write the notices, I write the resolutions, I write the laws, I do all the research and deal with all the employees, and now Mr. Leventhal should get paid for that. I have a quantum merit basis.
We're not paying Mr. Leventhal.
We're not talking about Mr. Leventhal.
Well, Mr.
My
Leventhal
position
did
is
submit-
Priscilla-
he submitted
Why don't you argue the case that's
$15,000.
before the court?
Because the court has decided preliminary that I am the attorney and should pay me. Jim, I'm gonna go back in the morning and I'm gonna bill the village for it. I'm gonna add it in my Article 78. Because this is time-consuming litigation.
We think
The
we're right.
court disagreed with you. You can think whatever
The
you
court
want.
did not disagree with us.
The
You
court
went back to the
disagreed with
appellate
you.
division within a week. So let's get the facts straight.
The fact, Jim, it is a legal.
I'm not a lawyer, okay?
That's
So
right.
It's
You're not a
unfair.
lawyer.
It's unfair for me to have to defend.
You
the court.
initiated all this
You
litigation.
initiated
You
it.
started
And if this is
all
deemed to be
this.
an illegal act,
Stop it.
Let's
I
have
would
enough.
I would like,
Excuse me,
I would like to
excuse me.
read exactly what the
I'll allow you to
court
speak
said.
about
They
it.
said the citizens are entitled to have a village attorney. There is a need for continuity in village government. There is no evidence that Mr. Toner was terminated for cause to avoid confusion, to provide continuity, and to preserve the status quo. I'm going to sign a temporary restraining order. And that's what he did.
the status quo means I get paid for my
Temporary.
services.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I
It's
don't have.
absurd.
I don't have an
Mr.
attorney to
Avina
tell
has
me.
a motion not to pay the village attorney. Was it second? Does he have a contractual duty to pay my?
It's
pay my
not
bills?
seconded.
Is it second? Otherwise, I'm getting paid.
No.
Madam Clerk, just
You know
call
what?
for it.
You gotta second my motion.
I need a second.
Somebody has to second the motion now.
I say not to pay Mr. Toner, but it's a
Motion not to pay.
Do we have a second to Mr.
Okay,
Avina?
I'll second.
I'm just selling, propose what?
I'm abstaining, because I don't know what's going on.
Madam Clerk, please poll.
I will poll.
I'm so sorry.
Hold the board, please.
Trustee Avina,
Aye.
trustee Lucia,
Okay, before I vote.
What'd you say?
I said before I vote, sorry, usually I talk so loud. So Mr. Avina, you made a motion to not pay Mr. Toner. But he is sitting attorney, as it does say, I'm just saying. And he was here for all the meetings. So why can't we just make like an agreement and pay him, how many months do we owe him?
last month and this.
Can we pay him one?
No.
Let's compromise. Let's compromise. I'm trying to be fair to everybody, because I really don't understand all this
You're gonna send me
legality.
back to court. I have to go back to court. I have a contract. So if you're not gonna carry out your contract, if you're not gonna keep my contract, I'm gonna have to sue the village. I'm not bringing up.
By the way,
I don't wanna sue the village.
You know what?
I don't wanna sue the
I
village.
know, you're suing the village, he's suing the village, she's suing the village, everyone's suing the
Really,
village.
let me correct something. I am not suing the village, I am being sued by the village. That's correct. I am definitive in action. So I've worked in this village for 2 years, and the thanks I got sued. I'm being sued, okay?
So am I.
So am I.
So you either gotta vote for Mr.
Somebody's suing us.
But I'm not accepting what you want. I'm not doing it. I
Wait a
have a
second,
contract.
wait a second, Jim, let's clarify now why you're being sued.
You have to say, Mr. Avina, because there's two Jims.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Avina, why you're being sued? The reason why you're being sued was because you unlawfully
Sued.
Unlawfully, wait, not to be, not to.
No, if I'm saying it wrong, tell me. No, tell me if I'm saying it wrong, because I don't know, because I'm trying to get all this organized. This is Jim, Miss, you, that one. I'm just trying to let the residents understand, because I'm having a hard time following this, so I can just imagine what you guys are going through.
Okay, can I explain it to you?
So I'm trying to like understand it.
I'm not
So-
gonna stand it tonight.
Yeah, and we're not gonna get anywhere tonight, and the whole point is, I honestly feel that, like I said from the beginning, when we first decided not to pay Mr. Toner, I said, he was city attorney, he was under contract, we should have just paid him that 1 month, and then go on from there. And I said that, let's wait for the court, let's wait for the court, let's wait for the court to
We
decide.
never saw a
I
contract.
had to
saw
vote
that
on it.
contract 6 weeks
It's in
ago.
the court case.
I had to,
contract?
listen, Priscilla, I'm sure, like, you know, I've been a trustee for a long time, I don't remember every vote, and I don't remember every contract that I approved or didn't approve, or I said no. There's a lot of things I remember saying no to, but
There's a
my
motion.
thing is, like I said before, we should have just waited until the courts decided, and now the courts decided from what I
It's
understand.
not decided.
Okay, I call the.
I'm gonna ask,
Okay,
there's a
it's out
motion
there,
on,
so you know what?
It's called already.
Avina said he made a motion not to pay Mr. Toner, not to pay Mr. Toner, right? Priscilla second.
Can I just say one thing?
It's the
I-
vote,
you-
we're taking votes now.
I know, but excuse me, I just want to just let you know, again, trustee Priscilla, you said you've never seen his agreement, or his contract, you handed it to me in the packet you handed me yesterday morning. This is the packet you came in, do you remember dropping this off
And you have the
yesterday?
contract.
The contract is right in the middle of it, but I
First
don't,
time I saw it.
but you didn't, you handed me the
Wait,
packet.
Leslie, I foiled that contract 6 weeks ago, I never got it.
You handed it
All
to
right,
me
let's
yesterday,
just
don't
stop.
say you didn't see
Leslie,
every
let's
time.
just
Stop.
the motion.
I hear you don't see things, but you hand them to me.
Mr. Toner, would you get
Yes, Leslie, please just call the vote. You got a motion on the table, and you got a second.
Okay, Mr. Avina said do not pay, he said aye. Trustee DeLucia,
Not to pay.
not to pay.
Oh, I thought you were, I'm sorry, you were.
The first, Mr. Avina said aye to his resolution. Trustee DeLucia, you were making a comment.
Okay.
and
Now you can vote.
A nay
Nay.
vote would mean to pay.
Okay. If we're owed, we pay.
Trustee Van Rushlow.
I feel that until the court case has been settled, we do not have to vote for a salary at this point, because it's going to be settled in court on November 6th. So I vote aye.
Mayor Trentine.
Okay.
So nothing happens, the resolution does not pass.
Let's move on.
Sorry.
Resolution number 1 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to direct Cash and Associates PC to prepare bid documents.
Please. Moving on to the reso regarding cash-ins.
I just want to tell the residents, I'm really sorry. I really do. I feel bad that you're sitting through all this, because this is really not how a meeting should be run. But unfortunately,
Thank you.
We're gonna have to just keep going this way until it's settled, until the courts finally says, this is it, and it's over. And then I think everyone will be happy then,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? I think so.
It's 2 weeks.
Okay, moving on to the reso regarding Morgan stock.
Okay, yes, Morgan Stock,
Direct cash-in, right?
that's it.
So they are the bid packets for cities too. Sharon, you want to comment briefly? I want to give everybody one package, about Morgan's dock. And basically what we have here is, it states that what they need to do to get the bid packets prepared for us to move forward with phase 2. And also as part of that, they give a recommendation of who should remove the soil, so we'll do it all at once. That's actually not part of the resolution, but it's part of the packet I was going to send out to you, so we have everything, just if you want to take a look at it. Yeah.
Just as clarification for people in the audience, phase 2 is to begin building the dock and the platform dock? Floating dock, thank you. Floating.
Where is independent general contracting located?
Excuse me?
The 3 bids that were taken?
Yeah, those we gave out at the work session.
Where are they
Next one.
located?
And there's an additional one, they're called independent general contracting, they were obtained by,
Time for your medication.
He needs it,
You don't have to type that.
2 of the bids were obtained by the actual engineers, and those were Galvin Brothers and Independent. And the other 3 we obtained, and they went through every bid, and the lowest yardage came out to be Galvin Brothers. And they're recommending actually Galvin Brothers, that we'll go ahead with them. That's not part of the resolution, that's just something that we wanted to have you be informed on. But as far as the information about what we need to do in order to complete our bid packets and what they need to do in their pricing, that's the last sheet. And those 3 pieces of paper.
So it's really 2 separate things here.
Yeah,
There's
it's 2
the
separate things, I just
the
get it all
removal
taken
of
together.
the excess dirt, for better words to say, it, everyone
Yeah.
understands. And then to continue with phase 2.
Yes, but that's the resolution, the last page that you need to make a decision about your resolution. No, not at all.
So, Rita, is this,
I'm sorry,
is it the
do you
fact?
want to clarify that, please?
Oh.
Right, according to the grant and the instructions in the grant, that does not need to be voted upon. We just need to show the grant committee that we have gotten 3 recommendations, so you don't have to vote on that. That's why it's not in the resolution.
That's just for information.
That was done on
Just
purpose.
to share that with you, that's all.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to approve this reso. Is there a second?
This is to prepare the bid packets.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, just double checking here, there's a lot of
That's it.
paperwork here, I'm just wondering, so, second.
Madam Clerk, please call board.
Trustee Alina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Manorhaven?
Aye.
Mayor Junta?
Aye. Moving on to the resolution to approve mooring permits. This is from Steve Walker.
Oh, he wasn't included in the last batch?
No, he hadn't
You didn't finish getting
finished
his
that
paperwork.
applying. He
I'm
didn't
going to
get
make
his
a motion
paperwork.
to approve that.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second, but I have once it's on the table now, I have a question. Does he also have isn't this the 3-year deal that we were giving them until Morgan was complete?
Yes.
Okay, because it's not stated, I didn't see it unless I'm missing
It's
it.
just for the 11 mooring permits.
Okay,
Is it for the perimeter as well? Perimeter, okay, then I will make an amendment to this within 11 moorings within his perimeter,
okay.
which will not interfere with what we're doing in the mornings.
Where do we put the perimeter?
Right near Capri Marina, there is a small perimeter. The perimeters are set by the town of North Hempstead. Within that perimeter, he is paying for 11 moorings for the 3-year mooring.
Okay.
So Trustee DeLucia, second that.
Yes, I did.
So Madam Clerk, can you please call the board?
Sure. Trustee Alina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Manorhaven?
Aye.
Mayor Junta?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Thank you. Moving on to the resolution.
employment, appointment adjustment, correction, change in grade of salary, determination of employees of the village.
Yes, within your packets,
We have Ron Caslow's contract, which we tabled.
Ron Caswell's contract was the same, basically the same contract as last year with 3%.
Ron,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
It was at 3%.
3%.
Right.
And his contract is for 2 years? 3
No,
years?
it's a year, it should be 1 year.
Yeah,
Year
but
or
I
year.
thought
two years, it's one,
2 years.
yeah, it's a
I
2 year.
I would recommend amending it to 1 year.
I actually prefer, I don't recall ever doing a 2-year for like his previous contract, I think it was year by year.
I remember 2
No, it's
years.
a 2-year yeah, it was a
No, he
2 year.
submitted a 2-year, but I think his previous contract was a year by year,
That's
wasn't
correct,
it?
that's correct.
It was 2 years.
Previous contract was 2 years?
the first one was 2 years. I've only
You
known
might-
It is, it's 2
Okay.
years.
two.
That's fine.
All right, so the 3% would be, for the first year, 61,000, the second year will be 63,000. I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
At 3%, are the numbers in the contract correct, then, Mayor?
Are they there?
I don't see them.
Yes, it's on page 4.
I don't have, wait a second.
Do you not have page 4?
I have a 2, it goes to 5.
Okay, I don't know why. Here you go. Here.
See the announcement, go with it.
Just divided it for 3%.
Here we go.
Okay, I see it.
Wait a second. I thought it was 61 and 63, I'm seeing 62 and 65.
I think originally he had put in 4%,
Right.
but it said to increase to 3%. I
Which
think
would be
Mayor,
$61,915 on the first year, right.
61,900.
And $15.
We have to amend it.
And the second year would be 63,770.
We have to change the numbers.
they changed the numbers.
And then just so everyone knows too, he doesn't take the insurance, so we do not pay for his insurance like we do.
Or retirement, do you pay for
No, it's an
retirement?
independent contract.
We don't pay retirement either.
No,
No, he's like a, almost like a subcontractor.
Independent contract.
Yeah, independent, that's right, independent.
Okay, so I made a motion on the second.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the board.
Trustee Alina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Manorhaven?
Aye.
Mayor Trenta?
Aye.
Mayor, we had in the resolution before, but I don't think we were able to discuss it with any of the other trustees, the other non-union employees, so I figured we might go and do that the next meeting. The next are, and I put them all together, this time a resolution to remove 3 trees. There are no photographs, unfortunately, Mr. Amasano.
All right.
Go ahead, Mayor.
No, it's in the tree, I have the front. Mayors,
I do not have tree stands, I have visualizing village
I'm sorry, you're right. I missed one.
What is it?
The digitizing,
Why don't we do that first?
that's fine, you're right, I missed number 4. Number 4 is the digitizing resolution. In the packets, I'm not sure the members of the community have it. You'll see something by image data. It was included in your work session folders, the brochure from them and the quote. So we discussed that there. This is a company that works with General Code, who's our code book, who was the company that got Laserfish for us. We are trying to digitize all of our records for easy retrieval, and time saves money to be able to find and also preserve our records. In a meeting I had with Trustee Avina and Trustee Manorhaven the other day, this is just for the first half of our record. The second half will be a project for the building records as well.
We discussed 50,000 and 75,000. What was that for?
No, I,
25, 25.
Oh, was it 25? Yeah, 50,000 off.
well, if you see the pricing estimate documents, total estimated cost is 15,
Yeah.
okay? And then we also, if the other company that provides us with Laserfiche knows how each folder has to be organized, they take one page, then they have to put a blue page in between to separate documents, so they have a portion of it too. So you have 15,000, this is for the first half, plus if you look at the general code portion, they're the ones that organize the folders before they are scanned. And it tells you, for example, what they will do when they do section block and lot. And their service to process the first portion, approximately 1,700 documents, is $2,527.50. So it's less than we thought. We were estimating 25.
50,000.
No, 25 or 25.
We said about 25, but we're right now at like 17, right?
Can we do one without the other, or we have to do them in tandem?
No, you can do one chunk, one project first, and then
With this, with the two of these, be one project. Another-
these two are one project.
project.
One company comes in and organizes
Right.
all of the
Okay, I got
files.
it.
And then the other company is the company that scans, that's the company
So
who
the
met
total
with
price of the
Mr.
one
Rushland.
project would be how much? The total price?
Right now, we're looking at just the records in the clerk's office for, I would say, $20,000 for anything that may
The
be.
building might be another 25.
And the building may be another 20. They have a lot more documents, they also have a lot bigger documents,
That's good.
so,
But these are all for our past records.
yes.
Okay, then as we accumulate new records,
Then what we do is we scan them in as we get them, and the people in the office will be able to handle. For example, we're gonna send them, I'm doing a lot of the minutes myself, but we'll scan, let's say it was minutes, we send those out to be scanned. Now, each time we have a meeting, we scan it in as we go.
Can you do it yourself, or do we have to send it out to scan?
No, the things that I do as we're going forward, I can do, but when you have,
So they won't have to come back and do major.
no, this is the major.
that's really all it's
The
a
other
long-term
thing, but if we're a little premature, is that we're going to, I'm going to suggest that any building plans come in digitally as opposed to just paper, so that they will be able to be entered into Laserfiche right away. So an applicant might
They can do that very
hand in
easily.
plans,
Right.
but they also send it to me digitally and send the final as-built digitally. They'll say,
Now, how
well,
does this work with open? Because we were discussing having open, and that they would have like kiosks for residents to go to and see everything. So will these two things fit in with the kiosks? So that
yeah, it's totally different, and the reason that I left off open for this meeting is that I was trying to get one new program, which is an electronic program, a new computer program up and running and going before we start having to do.
But don't all three work together?
They'll all work together.
They'll all work together.
They'll all work together.
And
Absolutely.
we'll have kiosks here for everybody, so that nobody has to boil anything anymore. You'll just be able to come in, put what you want in, and it'll come right out, right?
Right, but
That's what we're aiming for.
We're oversimplifying a little bit because you would still have to register, or it's a very simple FOIL project. Just to keep track of what's being looked at.
Well, you could probably register online.
We'll work out how to
Just
do
register that what you want to
that.
see.
But it
Unless
makes
it's once you
records more
register, there's no waiting
available.
period for the documents.
No,
Just
right,
get them right away.
exactly.
That's exactly.
So what, is that a separate cost?
They're doing that in Savile. Well, that's a whole new computer program, a new piece of software. So I figured we would get this one up and
So we're
running.
looking at 50,000 plus the last part was in.
Oh, that's gonna be.
Well, that's a whole different piece of software, that's why I left it off for right now, because we're spending money on this one.
But right now, we're just talking about 20,000.
It's $20,000, plus or minus.
You have to look at the budget on this.
Yeah, because I know, we just didn't budget for it, so can
I
we
did
wait?
bring the budget, you wanna wait? We'll wait.
No, I'm just saying that we wait.
There is,
Budget.
this is.
Where's the line item?
It was under Laserfish with the 12 and the 20.
So it's a 12 and 20 then, right? So subject to the fact
So,
that it's in the
we
budget.
can pass it subject to the budget, I did not bring the budget line through, it's
So it'll be,
subject.
you know what's 32,000?
Subject
12 and 20.
to. We were anticipating this,
Okay, good.
It's in the budget.
but I don't know where the line is, so I can't say.
Well, then let's make the
Make it subject
resolution.
to,
Subject to the budget.
Subject to the budget.
okay?
But subject to a line in the budget, we just don't want to.
The budget line
The line.
anticipated.
The line item. in the budget.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Just so you took the motion.
It's already been done?
The motion to approve, you already
Approve,
articulated the motion.
subject to the budget line, yes?
That's to authorize the laser project being presented by, the clerk of
Subject to the line item.
Line item.
showing the amount that is being budgeted for this
For
current
this.
fiscal year.
We have a second.
No, I second.
Trustee Nina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Manorhaven?
Aye.
Mayor Jota?
Now we're moving on to the tree resolutions.
Yes. Please
Can
take a.
can I make a recommendation, Mayor? About a year ago, Kevin felt that, and I agree with him, that almost every tree resolution is determined by whether or not the arborist has said it's all right to take it out. If he says it's diseased, then we say aye, and so it's sort of pro forma. So what I'd like to do is have a resolution where the residents use an arborist to determine whether or not their tree can be removed, and then it's just done. It doesn't have to be brought up and spend 15 minutes of our time going over each tree. Now, the one thing that I think that might be questionable is that we get an arborist that is not from the village of Port Washington particularly, because you wouldn't want a conflict of interest where one arborist from the village says, okay, you can take down the tree, and I'll take it down for you, because that'd be a conflict of interest. So I think we should give them a list of, I have a list here that I can give the clerk of about 70 arborists that are within a 35, 40 mile distance that could come and determine whether or not their tree should be taken down.
Is there, are you asking if we're gonna
I'm
hire?
asking if that, I'm
We
asking
don't have an
the
office
mayor.
now, do we?
No,
We do have laws on the
This
books.
is a-
We do
this
have
is-
laws on the books on this. We have to
Right.
file it.
And actually, I think we discussed this before, and you're right, Kevin did mention about, in other words, when a tree wants to be removed, they get, say, I'm not saying it as badly or anything or good, that Dom's tree service comes. So Dom's tree service comes look at the tree and says, yeah, it needs to be taken down. Then they come to the village, we approve it, then Dom takes it down. So Kevin's idea was, well, of course the tree guy is gonna say, not necessarily Dom's, say, yeah, because he wants the business to take the tree down. So Kevin did mention an independent arborist.
Exactly.
But the problem with that was when we researched it, I don't know if you remember, it's in our code. So we really need to have a public hearing
Can we
and
do
change
that
our
then?
code.
Can we do that?
What I'd like to
Discuss
do,
this further at a
what
work
I'd like to
session.
do is, I'll give you a summary of the code.
Okay.
And then if you want to amend the code, it has to be an equivalent matter, it has to be
Okay.
done by having a public hearing. That's all. You can't do it by reading the code. So I'll give you a summary and maybe that'll answer your questions. If it doesn't, then you can talk about amendments to that and we'll put it on for it.
Okay, let's put that on for our work session, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna move on now. We have the Ross family at 52A Inwood Road, one dead oak tree, we're gonna do it separately.
My problem is, Trustee Avina, were you able to go look at these trees?
No.
Priscilla?
No, and we just got this packet.
Yeah, no, just because last time I wasn't able to go, but Kevin went, so I took Kevin's opinion on them. Because he did the research for us, so I figured if one of the trustees went, that we should all
But we
agree.
didn't know about it.
We didn't either.
Okay, I
They
get
have
it.
our building superintendent inspector each one.
However,
I
I still think that if an arborist says that it's could come down, I couldn't vote, I would vote that it could come down.
We're gonna discuss that in a work session. Right
Okay.
now I have the inspection report from our superintendent on each tree, and I'm going to.
If you look at the back of your packet, it's number 5 at the bottom.
According to his report, they're sickly and damaged, and he recommends that the oak tree be removed. That's from the superintendent.
Is the superintendent an arborist?
We do have a report from the Art of Landscaping. That's both. Each one does have the arborist report.
Yes, there is one attached.
Oh, okay, that's good.
They're recommending removal as well for that tree.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna make a motion to approve removal on that tree.
Are we doing this, we're voting separately?
Yeah, on
On each tree, okay. And I have a second for the 52A inwood tree.
Second, please.
I'm gonna second, just so we can get it on the table and vote for it.
I don't know.
I'm just,
All right, so Madam Clerk, she seconds, just pull the board.
Okay, trustee Avina?
I actually vote nay. I think we should wait to get it, that Mr. Toller put the vote in front of us. You know, we want to do it with that.
just before, you know what, Jim, I mean, Mr. Avina, trustee Avina, I don't mean to cut you off on your vote. I'm just thinking about it, and because it says the oak tree is dead, I'm just nervous that we know about it, and if anything happens and that tree falls,
Good point.
we're gonna be responsible for it.
I'll vote aye.
Okay, just so, you know, I don't wanna change your mind, I just want you to be aware of what what's happening now.
Okay, fair.
Okay, trustee DeLucia?
I'm gonna vote aye, even though, just so I want everyone clear that I didn't go see the tree, but like I said, if it says it's dead, I just don't want anyone to get hurt.
I didn't
I'm
go
basing
see
it on the
tree either.
report, and I don't want anyone to get hurt.
Unfortunately, on this one, this reso, we didn't get these till late this afternoon after I just received them from our building inspector. Trustee Van Roshlav
I also say I have not seen this tree, but I will vote aye.
and Mayor Junta.
Aye. Moving on to 70 Ashwood.
Okay, I have a motion.
There is another inspection report that the building superintendent recommends removal because the tree is dead. And there's an arborist report supporting of the superintendent.
No, I don't see an arborist.
It's right here. Certified arborist.
That's the arborist report?
That's what he submitted. It has his
That's not an
license,
arborist report.
it has his license ID number and everything.
It's kind of shaky.
I'm not sure. That's your opinion.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a piece of paper. It's a box.
His license is certified.
Okay, wait, so this tree, hold on, this tree is behind the fence, tree behind fence. I'm not understanding where this, oh, here. Mine were mixed up, I'm sorry, hold on. I have two different trees mixed up. Okay, so,
It is fine. You're right. Do an answer that's behind the fence.
See, I just wanted to see what this was, is this one of the ash woods that they're building their own little private area back there? Yes.
60 trees, all day.
Really? Oh, okay, great. You've seen them, I didn't, good, I trust you.
Nobody, they approved it. 60 trees.
Oh, you said you haven't seen them.
60, okay. 2 years ago, 60 trees. They were all dead on one person's farm. Not dead. Can we,
I'm gonna make a motion to approve this based on the Argus report and supervision. They're saying that the trees now.
I have to second, I don't want anyone to get hurt, and second.
Madam Clerk, please call the board so we can move on.
Trustee Avina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Marshall?
Aye.
Mayor Junta?
Moving on to 7 Norwood South, 2 pine trees. Right in the driveway. I don't have.
Yeah, there is. There is. You have it? That's right,
I think it's the first one in your packet.
yeah, but that's what happened, mine was mixed up, so I was just trying.
His report as well says the tree is damaged. We have
I'm gonna make a motion to approve.
we have an Argus report supporting that. I can second it. I need a second, please.
Second.
I need a second to a motion.
Yes. Trustee Marshall? Trustee Avina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Marshall?
Aye.
Mayor Junta?
Aye. Okay, so,
Well, I just, I actually, oh, I'm done, okay, just making sure we went through the whole packet. I just, actually though, I thought we were going to make a resolution to have some public hearings scheduled for next month. One was the speed zone.
right, but before we get to that, can we hold off on that?
Sure.
Back to that.
I have 3 resolutions in front of me. Priscilla and I were down here early week with Leslie to have the resolutions introduced by the village, and they didn't make the agenda. So I would like to propose, the board has a copy of them all. And the first resolution would be to, whereas the Board of Trustees wishes to increase the level of preparedness for regular meetings of the board. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the board shall meet in a public work session at Village Hall on the second Monday at 7 p.m. commencing on November 9th. At the work session to be conducted on November 9th, the board shall discuss and consider village financial affairs, police protection, and unfinished business. The clerk treasurer is hereby directed to request that a representative of the village public accounting firm attend November 9th work session. The clerk treasurer is hereby directed to public notice of meetings according with the open meetings law.
I'll second.
Mr. Avina, I'd like to discuss it first.
Well, we discussed it in second.
No, I'd like to discuss it. If we do work sessions, right, so, if we do our work session so early in the month, it will not, I'm sorry. If we do our work session so early in the month, it will not help us prepare for the BOT, so I suggest we meet on the BOT nights as needed.
We cannot hear you.
I apologize. I was just saying, if we do our work session so early in the month, it will not help us prepare for the BOT, so I suggest we meet on BOT nights as needed. I don't think, Trustee DeLucia, do you have any?
The only problem I see with that is having BOT nights, we already start our meetings at 7.
Right.
So we'd have to start at 6, and there's a lot of people who work. So that's or, you know, go home, wanna come back or whatever, and I feel that's just a little too early to hold anything where people, members of the residents can come and listen. So I don't wanna exclude anybody, so that's the only problem that I see with that. But I do understand the need for a work session before we have our BOT meetings, because that's the way we can set the agenda properly. I've always agreed on work sessions before any of these boards. I had already put November 9th on my book, because we had discussed it at the last work session. So as long as this resolution is for the work session on November 9th, I'm okay with it. It's a week before, it's 10 days before our BOT meeting, that I'm okay with. I don't agree with, which it was mentioned, but it's not on this resolution, is setting an exact date, every month. It can't be that way, because, certain things happen that we need the village hall or whatever, so I think it would be better if we, as needed, but like I said, I don't think it should be before the BOT meeting. I just think, I know it's easier, because then we finally all can get together, because one of the main concerns, and like, you all know, everybody's busy, but between the 5 of us trying to get our calendar, 6 of us, including Mr. Toner, it's impossible all the time. So I understand why they want to make it a set date like our BOT meeting. Unfortunately, that can't really happen that way. But I see, but I'm just saying, me personally, but I'm saying that I agree that we should have a work session, and then each BOT, we can set one up, just like we did now. November 9th, I'm good with it. And then, after the BOT meeting, on November 9th, we can set one for December. I don't think how we can work it month to month, because things are gonna start coming up.
Holidays and.
Well, I also agree with you,
Rita, DeLucia, whatever you wanna call me.
I'm getting tongue-tied. Rita, I agree with you that we should have one before the meeting also. So I think we should have 2 work meetings a month. There is so much work to do in this village, and I don't see why we can't just meet maybe at 6 o'clock before the regular Board of Trustees meetings, because you can't do something in half an hour. We just about get settled in our chairs by 7 o'clock. And when people can come, they'll come. If they can come at 10 after 6, quarter after 6, 6:30, let them come in and listen when they can come.
Well, we honestly used to do that. We used
Well,
to
let's
come.
do it again.
No, we used to come, it wasn't like a set thing, we used to all just come early to discuss the agendas that were gonna
Yeah,
be
but
presented
the
and.
public wasn't allowed in them. Yeah, that's another issue.
They just weren't allowed to comment, but I think what happened was, I think you're misconstruing the whole thing. What happened was, the doors were locked.
Oh, let's not go into that.
No,
Let's not go into that.
it's the same, because not that I'm pointing at fingers, but Elise.
At everyone, yeah.
Including me, I will have you know. I couldn't get in,
So,
I
I don't think it could be a set thing. I think if you want to come at 6 o'clock to discuss the agenda, it's come. I don't think it should be something publicized. If people want to come early, that's fine.
No, I think we should make a regular work session. I was a trustee for 12 months. We had 2 work meetings. One was a compulsory budget meeting, and one was on parking where nothing was accomplished. We had a good time talking about it, but nothing was accomplished. I really think that we need to have some work sessions. And however we can do it, whether we can do it publicizing that it's going to be at 6 o'clock and whoever comes, comes. And if we don't have a quorum, then it can't be a work session. But if we can come, then it would be a work session. How's that, Rita?
Can I get a word in? I think the last work session we had, October 8th, lasted 2 hours. We walked away from there with 35 unfinished business, which we have a list of.
But
It's
then,
gonna take time.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that's gonna happen every time, Jim. You're not gonna, we had like 50 items. Don't think that next month, okay, we're only gonna have 20 items.
No,
It's
we-
always gonna be a lot of items. No, I'm just saying, it's always gonna be a lot of items, and we're not gonna get everything done.
I'm not saying that, but if we put 2 hours of work in, and then we have another hour, that's 3 hours a month, that we're able to address the issues. We're elected to get
And
those
we'll
done.
cross them off, and as they cross off, then we'll get new ones, and they'll come in. That's the way it works.
I think the
It's like a
trustees-
honey-do list, right?
Right, I agree, and at the work session, listen, at the work session that we had I have to go back and look at my date here.
October 8th.
Why don't we,
October, thank you, October 8th. Jim, I would have stayed all night.
Me too, that's with a lot of work.
I
to be
had no
done.
problem.
We're talking
When I
about
put
a lot
down
of
a
work
date,
here.
I clear my calendar for the village. That's the way it works. So like I said, I cleared my calendar for November 9th. We settled on that. I think it's fine. Oh, I don't know if the mayor was present. I don't know if that date is good for you. And we can have the first session November 9th. I'm just a little skeptical.
I'm afraid we're gonna do it up to scale. I think we can schedule a regular work session the second Monday of every month. Force us to get together for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, whatever it takes, because the business is building up. And we don't even have an unfinished business list, we have a parking problem. That's gonna be a whole 2-hour discussion. If people want something done with the parking around here, it's horrible. People want let's talk about the issues at hand. And I don't think anybody that's elected should mind giving up 3 hours a month as a work session. Because you get the work done at the work session. We don't have to go through all the formalities.
And like, everybody knows that we have a BOT meeting on Thursdays. So I'd love it to be, everybody knows that on the second Monday of every month, we're gonna have a work session, and they could just plan
Put it
it.
in. Trustees are unable to attend. They weren't able to attend. We don't really vote on anything. It's a work session.
But just, I get that, I do. But I don't understand why, okay, we can plan on it, but I don't see why we have to each BOT meeting, because it could be like, December 14th would be the next second Monday of the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right before the holiday.
It's right.
Everything's gonna be before the
Yeah,
holiday.
I get,
Starting November 15th, so.
I get that, I just thought that.
If you can't make it,
You can't make
then
it.
you can't make it, that's
You
all.
can amend the resolution to say that it's a priority of the village to have a work session every month, and that it shall be a policy of the board to have a work session. Then you have to agree on it, you have to know to do it.
Why can't we put it down second Monday of each month? And if for some reason it doesn't work because the trustees can't make it, and then we regroup. Let's try it for 3 consecutive months, see what we accomplish.
Well,
Spend 2 hours.
why can't we try November?
Then you already said December 14th is probably no good, so
Okay.
December's going to count.
Okay, let's everyone open their calendar now, so we can put it in and do December. And we'll do 2 months, and we'll try it out. I'm willing to compromise. If this is what some of the board members want, I'm willing to compromise. I'm not gonna say no. I wanna work together and accomplish things.
Well, that's the purpose of work session. I think it was a good step the last work session. I think we covered a lot of ground, and there's more to go.
Got a lot of
So December 14th is good for me.
So if we do November 9th, which has already been scheduled as far as I was concerned, because I thought we did that on the work session. So I don't know why we need the resolution when we already discussed it.
Well, we have what
No,
we
it
want
said
to
because it
discuss.
said to be on a continual basis. This is
Oh, okay.
different than just a November 9th meeting. This is
Right.
every month,
And then
the second Monday.
We'll put in December 14th, but by that time, when we have our BOT meeting, November 19th, it may change. So we'll put it in, work session, December 14th. Oh, please, can you look at your calendar too, Mr. Toner?
Yes.
And Leslie, I don't see anything on the schedule for BZA or ARB or
No, I
planning.
think November 9th is okay. and
That's
December-
why we chose the second Monday, because we cleared it, that was a clear day for everybody.
And a good time to start would be
November 9th.
November 9th.
What time? 6 p.m.
7?
7 is good.
I'd say 6:30. How about
I
that?
say 7. You can come at 6:30, wait.
Let's compromise.
7 p.m.
All right,
Perfect.
let's just,
Yay.
just hold on, please.
I'm sorry, but I'm also a mother and a wife, and I have to cook dinner before I come here.
I think we should just have it every
All right, but we have a
Okay,
compromise resolution.
But we just compromise, and we're gonna try November, December, and see how it
All right, so let's
works.
work this resolution.
Yeah, let's get 2 scheduled work sessions.
There you go.
I think we accomplished a lot. People like it. We'll start moving forward, and I'm sure we'll have one in January.
So we're pending it for the second,
It's going to be on November 9th and December
November 9th
14th.
and December
So
14th.
the, so the board, the first sentence, the board shall meet in public work sessions at the village hall. We're going to cross out on the second Monday of each month. And we're gonna write in, 7 o'clock PM, at 7 o'clock PM on November 9th, and 7 o'clock PM on December 14th.
Yes.
And there was part of the resolution, one of the public accountants,
We would like to call it count.
are we gonna keep that in there? Is it-
Yeah, well, the November 9th one.
We'd like to see the public accounts report right now, because we'd like to know what our surplus is. So we start planning and spending capital improvements to improve the road.
Okay, so on November 9th, we're gonna see what the public account is there. So that's all the changes to the resolution?
Yeah.
All right, can I get a motion on it? As amended.
Can I wait one second? If he's not available on the 9th, shall I ask him to come on the 14th since we have that scheduled?
I think the sooner the better, because I
I'm
really
gonna
want to
try to
start
get the
preparing
9th.
the capital budget.
Fine,
Okay, so just,
so,
we have a record, we have a program, so everyone's gonna slow down.
got it.
We're amending the resolution for November 9th, 7 o'clock, or December 14th.
And December.
And December, and that the public accountant shall be present on November 9th.
Yeah, I think.
And in the event that he is unavailable, that he shall be available on the December 14th meeting.
I have no problem with that, I just like what please stress tonight.
Well, you have a resolution that you're amending on the record. Stress and all that, we're trying to get the language down. And that's- So now, at the amendment, as the resolution as amended, Mr. Dina, are you moving to pass this resolution?
Yes, I mean,
Okay, we need, Mr. Dina makes the motion, who seconds?
I'll second.
Okay, Rita moves the second.
Full board. Trustee Alina?
Aye.
Trustee DeLucia?
Aye.
Trustee Ben Rashla?
Aye.
Mayor Jinta?
Aye.
Okay, now the second resolution.
Second resolution, okay. Second resolution is, okay. Whereas the Board of Trustees wishes, this resolution was presented before Leslie on Tuesday, so this is not pulling out of my pocket.
We did discuss this.
And we discussed it.
We did discuss and made changes based on Leslie's recommendation. Whereas the Board of Trustees wishes to increase the level of information available to the board and to foster greater board oversight of village. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the following trustees are appointed to serve as board liaisons as follows. The Business Roundtable, Vision Long Island, and Welcome Wagon, Trustee Van Russell. Finance, Trustee Gagan. Code Enforcement, Trustee DeLucia. Highway Department, Trustee Avina.
I'll second it.
The only,
I would like to discuss the resolution.
I'm gonna say the legal word oversight, I think is improper. It's executive,
What do you call it?
well, it's a liaison is fine.
Liaison.
To foster a greater interrelationships between the
Okay,
village and the various. Liaison is the word.
Okay, let's put it in.
Liaison, please.
Put it in.
Mr. Avina, I remember having a conversation with you that you were interested in.
Can we hear you?
I apologize, something.
Well, look this way.
Look this way and hands away from the face. Then we can hear.
I spoke to Mr. Avina. Mr. Avina, you agreed to be the liaison to the Business Roundtable for Vision Long Island. And Trustee Priscilla, you were the tree liaison. And Rita, of course, is was interested in the code enforcement. I'm interested in the highway department. I've always overseen the highway department, so is the clerk. I've been out every morning. I was out during the storm. I didn't see you out during the storm, Mr. Vina. But, and there's been some issues with the highway department. That's a concern to me.
Well-
So we can discuss that privately,
Well, I like to
But I-
discuss openly. One factor here is,
but I would like to let the highway department speak, because they did ask me to give them an opportunity, so I am going to allow them to tastefully express themselves.
this won't be any demonstration.
No, this is
No
no,
shirts, fly swatters.
no shirts, no flags.
Let me just, let me finish.
And I also just want to say, Trustee Gately's not here, but we do have a clerk who is our treasurer, and we have an accountant and an auditor, so I'm not understanding what
It's very
liaison.
simple. It's very simple. That Trustee Gagan will just spend more time than any of the trustees here with the village clerk treasurer to take a look at the numbers, review budgets, help prepare and review. It's a liaison function, oversight to get the trustees to work and the various departments in the village. Other villages have this. It's widely accepted throughout the villages. Let me just finish one thing. What we did observe when we came down here and spoke to Leslie, that the highway department, I'm not saying they're not working hard, I'm not saying they're not doing their job. And the rap that I've been hit with is that for outsourcing. Well, Leslie Gross looked into outsourcing the sweeping end. I'm not saying outsource anything, and certainly not to be done by the John. Let's make that very clear. So I'll put that on record, and he will not bid, or I promise you that.
But he can't bid, he has open judgments against him, the village, that's
Okay.
what.
Any different? We don't care about him.
We don't care about it. Move on.
He cannot bid until he pays his judgments.
Okay, so at this
Let me
time,
just finish. The reason I feel, the reporting of what the highway assignments are given during the day, when they leave here at 7